Dear participants, dear speakers, dear interpreter, welcome to this second Campfire session of the ROC Open Knowledge Week. My name is Cécile Houpert and I am project coordinator at Eurocities, the network of major European cities and a partner in the ROC project, and I will be moderating this session. I am joined today in this session by 4 ROC role model cities to discuss the exchange and mentoring process that happened between cities during the ROC project. So please welcome George Stefas from Athens, Dalila Ciuclan from Cluj-Napoca in Romania, Rūta Matonienė from Vilnius, and Marianne Willemsen from Eindhoven. We also have a representative from Liverpool present as participants. If you have specific questions directed to Liverpool, please write them in the chat and Richard Cook will answer you. So hello everyone, what a nice panel. Before we start with the speakers, a few reminders. So participants, you can use the chat for questions. You can also change your viewing mode to manage how you want to see us and the interpreter as well, in the button on the bottom right of your screen. And just so you know, we have together for about half an hour. So before we start with our panelists, I just would like to remind the audience about the importance taken by mentoring and exchanges between cities during the ROC project. So Eurocities, together with other key partners in ROC like Urba Sofia, was responsible for the organization of peer learning activities with cities taking part in the project. These activities had a lot of different names. So we did mentoring visits, work shadowing visits, exchange workshops, study visits, online webinars, etc. So I'm not going to detail here the specificities of each method, because what you need to remember is that the core idea behind mentoring visits, activities, was that replicator cities would benefit from experiences of role model cities to adapt successful and validated practices to their local context, as well as to formulate adequate responses to problems they were facing. But as the project advanced, this exchange evolved and became less unidirectional. Partners and cities realized that cities were keen on these exchanges because they always had something to share or something to learn from their peers. Cooperation and contact with other municipalities have been crucial aspects of the ROC project and have allowed exchanges of experiences between cities on various aspects of the project. So I believe these moments of exchanges and encounters made our ROC cities grow together and not only share, but upgrade their model, as also reminded by Miruna during the city talk with role model cities this morning. So during the different meetings and visits, cities showed also solidarity, mutual help and support, and learned together about best practices, but also mistakes to avoid and good tips to remember. There was, I think, a lot of honesty as well in this process. So we put together this session because we wanted to hear firsthand from the cities how they experienced this process of exchange, how they were inspired by other cities, what did they learn from each other, and also how will these newly created synergies and collaboration last in the future when ROC is finished. There was a lot of good stories from the ROC project thanks to the cities, and basically we wanted to bring some of them to you. So let me start with the first question to the city of Athens, represented today by George Stefas, who is EU project officer at the development agency of the city of Athens. So George, did you go beyond the program, the project official program of exchange? I know that you started the dialogue with some cities on a more personal level. Can you tell us a bit more about this?
Yes. Hello, Cécile. Thank you for this interesting question. I have to say that over and beyond the mentoring visits that they were done and the work shadowing events, a discussion and dialogue was initiated with the city of Skopje, where the Synergies platform, given that now it's in its replicatory phase, there started some dialogues in order to adopt the platform and the whole methodology of the participation for citizens and community groups to be adopted for the city of Skopje. So this is an initiative that was over and beyond the description in the application of the ROC project. So in this phase, a lot of meetings have taken place in order to identify and map all community groups and how to engage the citizens in this new platform that is going to be called Engage Skopje. Apologies if I do not state it correctly, the city. So at this stage, I mean, you have seen the presentation about how the Synathina platform works and how it engages citizens into meeting their needs and giving responses to local needs, to community needs. So this is the effort that is being done. It's being under development currently. Hopefully, from what Tony from Skopje told me, within the year the platform will be launched. So this is a really positive development. And if I may add, it's also good for our side as well, because we have gained the lessons of how we can replicate this methodology to other contexts, and so other cities can benefit from it.
So thank you, George. I think it's a very nice story because also of the political context between your two countries, and this gives a lot of hope for the future.
Yeah.
So now I
Yes,
turn
it is.
to now I turn to Dalila, who is also responsible for European funded projects in the municipality of Cluj. And I wanted to ask you how you were inspired by other cities to make changes also at local level. So do you have an example of an initiative from another rock city that inspired for you, more specifically, some changes in the city of Cluj?
Hello, Cécile. Hello, everyone. I must say that I'm right from the start with Rock Project, and it was quite a journey. And indeed, in June 2018, when it took place, the workshop on rock cities in Cluj-Napoca, it was the momentum when I felt that the mutual exchange between us and the way we understand and adapt the practices from other cities are really helping us. Besides testing the crowd analytic instrument, the sensors, we upgraded our own practices, as you and Miruna said, and we really feel that we adapted other models from other cities to our model, we upgraded it, and we enhanced the urban community fabric. We were inspired, of course, by other rock cities, and one of our favorite examples is the Interpretative Center in Lisbon, which enhanced citizen engagement for cultural heritage in those distant neighborhoods. Another really great example for us was Urban Center Bologna, that showed us how to address the challenges of the cities and discuss about the most important projects and problems of the city. This was really important for us because we have already the Civic Imagination and Innovation Center, and it was another model for us from Bologna, and we learned from their experience how to engage the citizens, and we replicated it.
Thank you, Dalila. So you see this, what I was saying exactly, that it was not just an exchange between role models to replicate the cities, but also inspiration coming from both directions, which is very nice. So I see already some question in the chat. We will take one or two in a moment, but for now I want to go to Eindhoven and chat with Marianne Willemsen. So Marianne is project manager in the spatial planning department of Eindhoven and responsible for urban development projects. And in ROC, she worked specifically on the redevelopment of the NRA area, which is a former gas plant near the city center. So basically, Marianne has a lot of experience when it comes to urban regeneration and urban redevelopment projects. And she participated as a coach in a lot of mentoring activities that we organized with the ROC cities. But also, she participated in other regular meetings or on a more personal level with some specific cities. So I wanted to know from Marianne, as you reach out to a lot of cities, also outside the ROC consortium, when we did the workshops and webinars with some Eurocities members, how do you perceive that role of a mentor for the other cities? And why is it important for you to take part in these sort of activities?
Thank you, Cécile, and welcome everybody to this session. And I think it was a very inspiring process we went through, and it was very inspiring to learn from all the other cities. And yeah, thank you for calling me a mentor, but I think that is too much. But it has been very challenging to share the experiences of the living labs we have in Eindhoven with the other cities. And so we organized meetings to Strijp area and also to NRA area. So that was very inspiring to show the projects we are working on in Eindhoven. And also we learned from the others, as Dalila also mentioned. It's not only an exchange between the replicated and the role model and the replicated cities, but also between the role models. And I think my personal experience is I was very impressed by the city of Liverpool, what they did, and the experience they have in the urban renewal and the reuse of cultural heritage. They are, an example for Eindhoven as well. And for me, the visit to Skopje was very interesting. So we had I visited Skopje Urban Living Lab in the Old Bazaar. And we had a brainstorm session with all stakeholders in Skopje, and it was very you really experience the challenge the cities are struggling with. And the presentation was they also made a small exhibition for Eindhoven Living Labs in Skopje, so that was so special to make these exchanges. And I had a personal connection with Professor Jasmina Vilanovska and also Maria Mano and Antonio as well. So it enriched my experience, and I was very thrilled in this rock project. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Marianne. And as you can hear from what Marianne said, it's also a lot about personal relationship and contacts with the different people working on the project. And finally, one last question from my side for Rūta Matonienė in Vilnius. So Rūta is advisor to the chief architect in the municipality of Vilnius. And dear participants, you may have seen a lot in the news from Vilnius since the project started, because the city has always been very proactive in disseminating about its good practices and results from the project. But also Vilnius did quite a lot to promote ROC also as a project at European level. So they participated in a lot of conferences, fairs, exhibitions where the project and the actions of the city was showcased. So, Rūta, my question to you is, why do you think this is also important in such a project? Connect with like a more global level and not just the city inside the consortium.
Thank you, Cécile, and good morning to everyone. I would answer to your question like from a global perspective, that being in line with this global context is crucial to everyone, to every contemporary city in whole Europe and abroad. So unlimited transition of workforce, goods and services in open Europe gives us all cities equal chance to struggle for this modern and contemporary workers that we want to attract to our cities. And this mobile labor gives us new challenges and new opportunities. And talented and intelligent workers welcomed in whole Europe. That's why Vilnius needs to be seen and shown on the global arena as equal to every other location in Europe. And we'll put a number of efforts and number of resources to attract those, to be an interesting location to attract newcomers or to keep our local young generation that now deciding where to continue their life. And we have new open opportunities to Minsk, city in Belarusia that is very close to the Vilnius, and we will become an open space for free and intelligent Belarusia community as well. So happy life, healthy environment, modern well-being is part of those resources that we all proud of, and our knowledges and our goals like happiness index built on and proven by our technological partners in project, our findings that were presented at previous session might be present and visible on international context due to the ROC project and due to this platform. And it will back up Vilnius' ambition to be to gain that experience, to share it with to give the modern society the quality of life that they deserve. And one more merit to work together with city scientific and technological partners in that type of international project like ROC is gaining and distributing all the knowledge that we gain in the project, not only in Europe's society, but even wider abroad, to share with other countries our technological findings, our experience in new approach to the cultural heritage. Scientific and technological partner in this project give us city officials, city administrators, expands our capacity to connect new technologies to the better city governance as well. It's one of very much important aspects in our work together and our long journey in our project. Thank you, Cécile.
Thank you, Rūta. And yeah, as you see, it was a lot of sharing and giving back as well, and giving back not only to the ROC cities themselves, but also extending to the broader scope of cities in the European Union, but also outside. And about that, there is actually a question in the chat from Antonella, who's asking how the network of the ROC cities has followed up collaboration with more cities beyond the group of ROC partners. So this is a bit what we discussed as well, and how the network will continue after the end of the EU-funded project. So for the first part of the question, I think I can also contribute with an answer from the Eurocities side, because what we try to do as well as part of the project is to connect to our members. So basically use the network that is Eurocities, which is a network of about 150 members in the European Union, but also outside the EU, but still in Europe. So we try to connect as well to our members and reach out to them to show them the results of the ROC cities, but also to have them participate in the different, in some specific activities. So for instance, we organized a workshop in Lisbon when we invited cities outside the ROC consortium to take part. They could learn from Lisbon, from the other ROC cities participating in the workshop, but also give something from their side as well to the ROC cities. So it was quite an interesting process, I think. And we enjoyed quite a lot that aspect as well. And then on the question how the network will continue after the end of ROC, but I hope we will manage to keep these connections and collaborations we created between the cities of the ROC project, but also that we will continue using the Eurocities network to expand and disseminate about the project result. But maybe one of our speakers has a contribution to make on that aspect as well. If you want, you can raise your hand like this and I can give you the floor. Yes, George.
Yes, thank you. So one aspect is, from our side at least, the collaboration with Skopje. I mean, this is a project that is ongoing and it's not related to the activities of ROC. So this is something that's been doing on the side and it's going to continue after the end of ROC at the end of this year. So this is one aspect. And also, I believe the network of partners, now that they have get to know each other through this 4 years implementation. Some developments of new projects arise all the time, and with a new programming period, I mean, a lot of opportunities are in the table for all of us to change not only the city branding of each city, depending on its cultural assets, tangible or intangible, but also other local initiatives and how these can benefit from methodologies applied to other cities. So I believe maybe this is not something that you can measure, but it is there and it is in our hands to make it happen. So I've seen a lot of examples for Vilnius, for example, because I was in the project meeting there and they're doing so many things and the view I have for the city, it's completely different. I mean, I visited the MO Museum, the Modern Art Museum. I saw the technological tools that they use there and how they change the initiatives and projects that they run as a city, as a municipality, for the citizens. And it was, I was flabbergasted with the whole thing. So I think the sustainability, it's not only about how many EU funding we can get, but also what experience we have now in our hands and how we make use of it. I don't know if that answers the question.
I think it does, and it's important to say that the experiences that we made in the ROC project, we kind of carried this. We carried these lessons and these experiences, and we continue. I see that Dalia in the chat is saying that Vilnius continue through other EU projects. Of course, there are also other opportunities coming up for us to continue this collaboration, but also to take our lessons to another project and continue like the expansion like this. Any one of you wants to add anything to this? No, I think it was clear. There was another question as well about the extension of the project to outside the EU. So like, for instance, in Asia or maybe in Latin America. So I think at the moment there is not really a plan to expand the project this way, but a lot of cities have connection with cities outside the EU as part of their training programs, for instance, or as part of other projects that are financed by different funding programs. But also a lot of these of cities outside the EU can find inspiration in the documents and the deliverables and the different results that we had in the project. So for instance, Ivona said that there is some action proposed in the rock exploitation plan. So also in cooperation with other cities outside the EU, probably. So I see some questions as well. How is it possible to have cities collaborating in different countries outside the EU? Yeah, it's a good question, but again, it's what I was saying in a way. So if there are no questions, I have maybe more questions for the speakers. And Miruna is asking an interesting one. Is there something you would have done differently if you were to start again? So this is something also I wanted to know from our speakers. If ROC was starting tomorrow, would you do something a bit differently? Marianne?
I think the challenge we had in ROC was very complex. And it would have been easier to make it less difficult for everyone to start with the project. I think that would be a thing that could be different. But how? That I don't know. But I think we started with a very complex project, and so it was difficult for everyone to join in on a good level. I think that could be different.
Any other comments, Rūta?
Thank you. I continue Mariana's idea that the complex and project that has so many different partners in one consortium is really quite difficult to manage, quite difficult to take all those activities that going on around. But I would say that we are very happy to have our local technological partners, in this case, our university that helps us, back up us in all activities. And I would say I won't do different that next time. I think it's a very good experience to have your own local partner that are more intelligent and more know more technical stuff that can help you, because we are not by our background, by our profession, not a technological people sometimes, and that helps a lot.
Yeah, I think it's nice to say it as well that when you enter a project as ROC, European funded project with so many partners, Of course, you're backed up by all the partners in the project, but also at local level, it's also important to create synergies and collaboration with your local people that can also help you. And I think in all the cities in the ROC project, this happened, and there was really strong collaboration created with the universities, with associations or organizations on the ground. And this is also an impressive and nice lesson from the project, I think. There is another question from Gamze in the chat. What were the main challenges in terms of the replicability of your models? Any one of you has some insight on this? Yes, George?
Yes, I have to say that transferring or replicating the model of the Synathina platform and the whole citizens participation model was a completely different experience from Athens to Skopje, given that the two cities are similar but also are different. So although the methodological steps were there and they were followed, you had to go over and beyond the bureaucratic processes that each municipality has, how citizens perceive on this approach and how they can, how they can adopt it, because you present a new way of responding to the city needs, but that doesn't mean that the citizens are open to embrace it on a heartbeat. So this takes time. So and it's also something that it's different to a different city. So if you go to Vilnius or Eindhoven or Bologna, it's going to be a different experience. So there are many obstacles that you have to overcome. So even though you have the methodology, you also need people that have a real grasp of it. They've done their homework and they're really persistent on making it happen. So I think it's all about the human factor at the end of the day.
And also a lot of adaptation and flexibility.
Yeah, for sure, yes.
Any other comments on that question from Gamze? There's a lot of other questions coming in. So I can also go to the next one, which is a question from Saveria. And she's asking if the local partnership that were created within ROC were already present in the city, or if the project gives you the opportunity to create new connections, so connect with new institutions, associations, creative people, or other types of partners at local level. Do you have good examples, Marianne? Yes.
Because of the ROC project, I met a lot of my colleagues.
Yeah, this is an interesting outcome as well.
I worked for a long time at the municipality, and also my colleagues do. But because we had new connections and new issues to work on, it is very interesting to meet new people. But also, I had a good connection with the university, the technical university, and we really were working together, and that was a new colleague to work with. So that was also very interesting, and also with the stakeholders on the Strijp area, and also on Stratum's Eind, where we showcased the living labs over there. It was very interesting to see the insight of the work of so many people, and I think that is really a big plus for me from the ROC project. Yes.
Any other comments? Yes, Dalila?
We already had connections with the local ecosystem, but what I saw and we feel right now is that we enhanced and consolidated somehow our relationship with the people from the universities on the data collection and interpretation of data, because we had the sensors and a lot of data, and at first we didn't know what to do with all that data, and we asked the help from the sociology university, and then with our partners, with the stakeholders, cultural side of the city, with the Cluj Cultural Center, we became more cooperative, and now we are working more with them. And it really helped us.
Yes, I think it's a very nice outcome of the project as well, the effect it had at local level. So not only with other cities and maybe with some other countries as well outside the EU, as we discussed before, but also at local level. So it's really like ripple effects from a EU project like this. So I think we are reaching almost the end of our session. So I wanted to thank you, dear speakers, and also thank you, the participants in the chat, for your interest in our stories today and your interesting question. Today, this Campfire session is the last session of the day, but the ROC Open Knowledge Week is ongoing tomorrow and on Friday as well. So don't hesitate to join for more. And I will now leave the floor to Pamela Lama from the City of Bologna and Cristina Garzello from ICLE for a few words on the program for the next day. So that's it from us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the speakers. And let's disappear from now, but we'll see you soon in another session. Bye.
So, well, we have already come to the end of this second day of our ROC Open Knowledge Week. I hope you had enough food for thought and a source of inspiration from the stories you just heard from our speakers and guests. As we said yesterday, and as it emerged today, ROC is a very complex project. It is articulated in many actions. It brought together 33 organizations across Europe. But at the end, as you can see, we could succeed thanks to the participatory approach that was followed since the very beginning, and in the strong interaction between research and local administrations. So in applying research into practice and refining it. So if you enjoyed these stories and want to listen to more stories of change, don't miss tomorrow's sessions. So Cristina, could you please anticipate what will be tomorrow's focus?
I will do so. So tomorrow we'll focus on specific monitoring tools to transform and regenerate ROC model cities' urban identities, while also tackling new challenges. We will see examples from the city of Turin and the city of Lyon, very interesting examples, so don't miss them, as well as an overview of the ROC monitoring or interoperable platform, which will be presented by Corvallis. At 11:30 tomorrow, a very distinguished speaker will join our event, Lia Ghilardi. She is internationally recognized as a leader in the delivery of sustainable culture-based regeneration plans and strategies, and founder of the Noema Culture and Place Mapping in the UK. She will start a conversation by exploring the quote of Patrick Geddes, "A city is more than a place in space, it is a drama in time." And after that, she will analyze the wide-ranging impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the cultural heritage world. But for today, I think we can close. And I thank to all of you that contributed today, both attendees and panelists. And we all look forward to meeting you again tomorrow at 9 Central European Time. Bye-bye.